We're going to take a trip in the time machine back to August 19th, 2011, and you end up on the phone with the Powells.
I thought there's no way, absolutely no way he's going to answer the phone call, much less do an interview with me.
KSL News Radio's Paul Nelson got one of only a handful of interviews ever granted by Josh Powell.
I remember feeling it was Jekyll and Hyde with Josh Powell. Before he agreed to record, he was very angry. But then when he said, okay, go ahead and we can start recording, that's when he became this, well, we hope the police find something. We still hope that she's alive. And it was just a very different guy.
What Paul didn't know was Josh Powell was not the only other person on that call. West Valley City Police were listening too, with a wiretap.
Take a second to read this, and then let's talk about it.
Josh agrees to be recorded and answers questions. Josh addresses the search and says it's the same old crap, just in a new area. Where was this from?
KSL's Cold podcast has, for the first time ever, obtained access to hundreds of pages of secret police wiretap records in the Powell case. They reveal what Josh Powell and his family members were saying in private conversations, sometimes in summary, but other times with word-for-word accuracy.
I thought they would be looking at hotels, apartments, or people. I hoped that they were looking for Susan in the city of Ely. I didn't know they would be looking in the mountains.
I actually thought that they were going to be looking in hotels, apartments, for people, frankly, for Susan.
There's a reason why neither Paul nor anyone else in the public has ever seen these records.
Were you aware that anybody else was listening in on that phone call?
I did not.
You know, wiretapping private phone calls, you get some very intimate, very serious, very sensitive information.
University of Utah law professor Matthew Toxin knows the Fourth Amendment inside and out. It protects our private calls from most eavesdropping. But sometimes a judge will give police permission to spy.
It's not every investigation where you have, police with headphones on listening to your phone calls.
Typically, they're confined to cases that are serious, like this investigation.
Wiretap recordings and records are among the most tightly held government secrets. There are stiff penalties for any government employee who publicly discloses the contents of captured conversations.
And might put you in contempt of court to intentionally leak a wiretap conversation.
In other words, this kind of glimpse behind the curtain is extremely rare. So what can it tell us about the search for Susan Powell that we didn't already know?
I had nothing to do with Susan's disappearance.
The wiretap notes reveal the Powells spent hours strategizing on how to steer media coverage of the case and deflect public criticism.
I've never hurt my wife. I've never hurt her. I've tried to defend her.
The records do not record a single instance of the Powell family members expressing remorse or sympathy for Susan. Instead, the family debates the best way to, quote, paint a picture of her.
Susan is a very flirtatious person.
She was very flirtatious and very sexual with people. I mean, there was a lot of titillation going on.
Josh suggests depicting Susan as a mentally unstable, lying, vindictive woman.
She has a very low self-esteem because of severe emotional abuse as a child, and I've had to try to help her get through that.
Josh Powell went to great lengths to present himself publicly as a perfect father, filming home movies of his sons to post online.
Mommy is beautiful.
That's right.
In private, he coached his sons to swear and told them their grandfather, Susan's dad, was a liar and a scary, angry man. More than once, Josh discussed the rental car he put more than 800 miles on after Susan disappeared. But his comments didn't give police any concrete answers about where he had gone. He told his family he could have gone anywhere, north, south, east, or west. But he also said something we had never heard before. He said he had stopped at a convenience store where he had appeared, quote, very memorable to a clerk. That clerk has never been identified or come forward. A crucial missing piece of this puzzle.
Man. And out of all that, they didn't get enough to really do anything about it.
No word about where the body was.
Or what had happened to it, or anything.
But this call may have been the most telling at the time. In a conversation with his father, Josh said he would not go to prison, where he could not kill himself. And he revealed he had decided not to kill himself before, because if he did, his estranged sister would get his boys. A chilling foreshadow of how the lives of Josh, Charlie, and Braden Powell would end.